what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the JLJPodcast. It's your boy, Jack Rumia. I'm here on man JVK.
How's it going, guys?
I'm also here with Matho.
G'day.
And we've got a very big episode for you guys today. We're trying to make the video shorter, as I guess you guys seem to enjoy the shorter videos. Of course, we had Callum Brown on the podcast last week. Make sure you go watch that if you haven't already. It was a very good episode. Definitely our best episode so far. So, yeah, definitely check that out. But very exciting times of footy. Of course, we've got our Festival of Footy going on right now, as they're calling it. So plenty of games to go over and very exciting stuff. So we'll kick it off straight away with VK in Dogs Richmond.
So an absolute domination from the Tigers in this one as they win by 41 points. Richmond are beginning to look very scary again, lads. For me, them and West Coast are the favourites to win at the moment. Richmond still have a lot of players out, but they are still performing this well. Players like Bolton, Chol and Bolter have all stepped up during this period with their injuries and have been very impressive. And it shows the depth of Richmond and their side and how well they are coached that they can have so many good players out and still play so well over the past few weeks. Dusty as well, starting to get into his Brownlow form that we've been used to seeing. With 3 goals and 26 touches. And also got to note McRae in the shortened quarters. Getting 37 touches is a very good effort in a losing side. And just a talking point, lads. Tim English. What is everyone's thoughts on Tim English? Had one good game this year. Everyone hyping him up. That seems to be a common trend this year in the AFL. One good game or one good performance from a team and getting hyped up. What does everyone think on the Tim English?
I think he's promising. Definitely got something to look forward to. Very lanky.
He's very lanky.
So if he puts a few kegs on, I reckon he will be one of the best ruckmans in the future. I did just trade him into the Supercoach draft side because he's averaging all right on the Supercoach. So
yeah,
bit of a replacement for Rowan Marshall, but I think, like you said, VK, most players these days are getting hyped up after 1 or 2 games, and it's kind of easy too because there's such short turnaround until the next game and stuff. But I think it's hard to explain, but it's just I think he has been a little bit too much overhyped.
Yeah, it won
so early.
A huge game against Essendon.
Yeah,
I
definitely
agree. Yeah, I agree. I think for this game, Martin was comfortably best on ground with an incredible performance, with that incredible goal as well. McRae with 2 and Jason Castagna with 1 vote for me in this one.
Right.
Meatball.
More up the field now, more up to the half-forward wing at the moment, so playing well in that position
definitely.
for the Tigers.
So I guess move on to the Melbourne-Port game. Quite a good performance by Port, of course, away from home. Up at the Gabba, and really strong performance over Melbourne, who came off a really good win over Hawthorn the week before. So, of course, everyone was saying it's going to be a really good game, but Port just showed their class. Of course, the president of Melbourne came out after the game and absolutely smashed them. So, of course, that's not good for a lot of young players in that team, and I guess very out of character from him, considering that you don't normally see him too much. It's something you expect from a Jeff Kennett or an Eddie Maguire or the Port Koshies, their president, but not from the Melbourne president. So I thought that was interesting. So I think Melbourne, I wouldn't be surprised if Melbourne's coach gets sacked at the end of the year. They don't make finals. What's his name?
Goodwin.
Simon Goodwin.
Yeah, Simon Goodwin. Yeah, exactly. I would not be surprised. I don't think he's a very good coach at all. But, of course, Port were too strong. Gave Ollie Wines the 3 votes. Of course, captain this year, really strong. Getting back to what his form was a couple of years ago, which was really good. Of course, Boak as well, former captain of the team, 2 votes. And he was really good as usual. Putting on one of his best years in his career, you'd think. I reckon he'd go close to top 5 in the Brownlow. Looking really strong lately. And just the 1 vote to the young man in his 4th or 5th game, Georgiadis, kicked 3 goals and was looking really promising down there. Once he gets a bit of meat on him, like Tim English, could definitely be one for the future. They have him, Charlie Dixon going well. If Justin Westhoff finds some form or something, be really good for him. But yeah, I guess Port just too strong as usual. Melbourne, bit of a reality check. All their midfielders are the same. Of course, Matthew Lloyd on Access All Areas came out and said that they need to get rid of a Brayshaw or Oliver or Harms or someone like that and try and, trade them out because all their midfielders are the same. Of course, Oliver and Brayshaw, those blokes can't kick a football to save themselves. So, yeah. But good signs for Melbourne. Sammy Wiedemann kicked another 2 goals. So,
You'd love to see it, don't you?
You do love to see it. You scroll through their Instagram and a couple of the comments on the post are that he's a future Coleman medalist, they reckon.
It could be. You never know.
Absolutely.
Ex-Fryer lad, I reckon, wouldn't put past him.
No, wouldn't.
And him and Christian Petrarca, I reckon Brownlow medal for Christian Petrarca and a Coleman medal for Sam Wiedemann in the same season. The Whitefriars lads will be doing well.
Absolutely. Matthew, you got to go to Essendon game, or you got more to say?
Just quickly, though, I think you were talking about Simon Goodwin not up for the coaching gig.
Mm-hmm.
I think talking about coaching, I don't know what's going on down at Adelaide, but there was photos that came out. They were sitting in the rooms at halftime, and they had the big oval on the ground, and they were putting the drink bottles around and describing where they needed to go on the ground with drink bottles. So I think they really need to reconsider what's going on down at Adelaide and decide whether it's under 9s footy or AFL footy and actually just explain it to them in words because obviously something's not working right. I think...
Well, that part, he was showing them that they need to move. So their defenders, they need to shift across from the middle of the ground out to the wings and stuff and vice versa and stuff. So it wasn't a bad way to show it, but just, of course, Adelaide are shocking. So
I think AFL standard as well, getting out drink bottles to represent players on the field.
It's also the best way it's the best way to show it in terms of that. I'm sure you can make a digital version and stuff. It's just a waste of time.
Good call.
Matthew, you're going to go to the Hawks-Carlton game?
Yeah, so we'd starting time game actually. It was 3:40 or 5:40 our time.
Mm-hmm.
So head straight out of school from Perth and go straight to up to the stadium to watch Carlton versus Hawthorn. It's not bad at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Carlton started off well, like everyone saw. First 5 goals unanswered, but didn't finish well. And that's all we can put it as, because a 31-point lead, in the first quarter, you probably would put it out as a blowout for the rest of the game, but Hawthorn just far too strong in the last 3 quarters of the game, and Carlton almost went missing. I know a fair few players were just shocking, and can't even say that it umpire's fault because the free kick count and all that, you got to award what was there and stuff, and some calls were a little dodgy, but happens to every team now, and there is a bit of scrutiny in the media with the umpiring, but
yeah,
I think it was just shit coaching and a shit performance from Carlton in the last 3 quarters. It was just Hawthorn, I think, with Jarman Impey coming back and Luke Bruce as well. They were 2 massive ins. Big Johnny Segler and Big Boy McAvoy were dominant in the ruck against Mark Pitney. And other than that, it was just a blowout, and Carlton just need to really reconsider where they're going next, because I read a stat the other day that 13 out of the games since David Teague has taken over as coach, they've had a 4 or more goal lead and blown it, or something. There was a big point deficit or something, and they cooked the lead. So I think they really need to reconsider their finishes. But I think 3 votes. Tom Mitchell returning to his Brownlow form.
Definitely.
How many touches did he have, Jacko? Did you see that?
I don't know. I think it was 28 or something. So
Yeah, so
it was a good game. A lot of contested balls.
It was 28 touches.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Pushing 30 touches in shorter quarters is always a good effort. Jack Gunston, 2 votes. I think he was really, really strong for him. Carlton defence did look a little bit lost and didn't know where to kind of put Wadering and Jones and Doherty for that matter. I reckon Cripper's lucky just to get the 1 vote because could have easily gone to Luke Bruce. Jarman Impey had a decent game. Cripper. Yeah, exactly. But Cripper's lucky to get the 1 vote there, and I think with Alistair Clarkson not really believing in the tag, I think it was the week that we were going to see Cripper have a bit of a breakout game, and like we saw, it was decent, but just not decent enough. So on to the next game, Jacko.
Yeah, of course. Let's move to, I guess, another big blowout in terms of the Brisbane game. Of course, VK's team, shocking, as usual, by the Dons. I was actually nervous coming into this game because, of course, we haven't been Essendon for quite a while, and they always seem to get us, with Tipper last year kicking 7 goals on us, so I thought he's going to have another big game. But of course, we were just too strong. Speaking about Tip and Woody, had 2 touches up to half-time. Noah Ainsworth did a fantastic job on him coming back into the team after the injuries to Leicester and Rich. So that was a really big win for the Brisbane Lions. And Alex Witherden, of course, the other end for those 2, getting 25 touches was a big positive.
It was good.
But easy 3 votes goes to Lachie Neale. It's his Brownlow to lose now. I think only injury. Yeah.
In the game, no one stood on him. He's just wide open. I don't know why coaches don't put someone on him. Unless the game, I watch games with Brisbane. Some teams put someone on him. We didn't even have someone on him, not even a tag, but just not even someone on him. He was open space every stoppage, and he's going to get through. I saw it the first quarter how open he was. I'm like, this is not 3 votes, guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, it's his Brownlow to lose. Having 33 touches and 2 goals, with a 4 clearances as well, which is always nice. But he was dominant as usual.
Who would you put on in VK?
Anyone
as a tag.
Literally anyone. That's not like there was not even one person on it. Put a tag in Essendon. Maybe Chuck a McGrath on him, but we need him attacking wise. He's a good defensive midfielder as well when he wants to be. But I didn't want a tag on him. I just wanted a player. Just a player. He was wide open at every stoppage. Just someone right next to him, and just try to compete with him because he was wide open. Yeah. It was too easy for him.
Looking at it now, with no Dyson Heppel in the side either, I think all the midfield players in your side kind of have a role to play anyway. So having the extra effort of having to look after Lachie Neale was the hard thing to do. And then around the ground, you got plenty of other players to worry about. So I think that's where the coaching went wrong. They probably could have put a player that could have run with him in the side. It was just... But Dylan Shield, you wouldn't put Dylan Shield on him. Zach Barrett wouldn't let him run.
Langford wasn't playing. He usually plays against the best player in the league. That wasn't ideal. Exactly. But they should have brought someone in like a Dylan Clark or something who can do a tag role. He's been inconsistent at it, but just someone on him, you know what I mean?
Yeah, disappointing for Essendon, of course. 2 votes goes to Charlie Cameron. He kicked the 4 goals, also the 10 touches. He was playing, I guess, higher up the ground at times, which was really good for the line structure with the 2 new blokes coming in as Skinner and Balladin, who, after last night's performance against Richmond, are the worst players I've ever seen play football. Made some comments about them on Snapchat, which we will not repeat because that's something we don't want to say out loud to the public. But they're just really poor players. But lucky they did all right against Essendon. And also, I gave the 1 vote to Alex Witherden, as we talked about earlier before. Had his 25 touches. Also, good thing of them, 20 of them were kicks coming off the half-back line. Was really important for us because, of course, no Daniel Rich because of his hamstring strain. So we needed someone who could kick the ball into the middle, and Witherden did that job. So it's sort of surprising for a lot of Brisbane fans that he wasn't playing beforehand, but I guess he sort of cemented his spot in there. And another positive sign for Brisbane, Grant Birchall having the 15 touches, looking really good, the old man. I was surprised. So sort of when we picked him, I'm just like, oh, yeah, that'll be nice. He'll play, maximum 10 games for the year or something, because I'm just like, yeah, he'll do his hammy or calf again and stuff like that, because he's been injured for the last 2.5 years, really. But he's putting in some really good performances, and I guess also takes the pressure off Witherden as not only being the only kicker, and Grant Birchall is also one of the best kicks, to ever play the game. So really good for them. But yeah, moving on. Matho, do you want to take us through the JLJ multi for this week?
Oh, Jacko. JLJ multi, it's back. We couldn't do it last week. We had Carl Brown on the show, obviously, so it's back this week. And just remember, gamble responsibly. We don't want anyone going into debt this early in their career.
Absolutely not.
But do you want to know the odds now or after?
Go after. I want to hear it first.
All right. So now you might blow it off after the first leg, but Adelaide to have their first win of the season against Melbourne.
God. Don't know about that one, but yeah.
And Taylor Walker to kick a goal anytime. So
that's possible, yeah.
I mean, if Adelaide get up, you'd probably back Tex
kick a goal if they get up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would. I think Tex has to kick a bag for them to get up. Yeah.
So, then on to the Collingwood game.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Papley and Brody Myercheck to kick 2 or more goals each. And the young lad, Isaac Quainer, to get 15 or more touches.
Yeah, he could do that. Quainer's been in good form off the half-back line.
Yeah, I reckon he's going to be a good replacement for... Well, I don't know who he really needs to.
Well, I guess he's almost a really late replacement for Heath Shaw. Of course, went out 5 years ago now, but they've never had. Of course, Maynard was it for a little bit, but now Maynard's more of a stronger defensively than he was back then. So
exactly.
Yeah, I guess he's their next Heath Shaw, so they're going to play up for the next 10 years.
Yeah. Now. None of us really know too much about the NBA, but from what I'm hearing, the LA Lakers and Toronto Raptors are top of the table for each division, conference, whatever you call it. And they're both playing on the same day, so we're going to call it Lakers get the win, Toronto get the win.
I'm backing them. LeBron James and the guy with the beard. He played for Toronto, I'm pretty sure.
Well, he plays for Houston, but yeah.
We move on.
Toronto's
I'm
going
sure
to get
there's a guy who has a beard in their team.
I'm sure there's a guy that has a beard in Toronto, yeah. That's what I meant.
Then on to the football. So we've got the Champions League returning. It's a big day. All right? Juventus to win. Man City to win. Barcelona to win. Chelsea to come back and beat Bayern Munich at home to progress to the next round.
It's just going to be like $1 billion. What's this? That's literally impossible.
No, it's not that bad, but
it's not that bad.
$2,000.
How much?
$2,000.
$2,084.
Chuck $1 on it, lads. Chuck $1.
But you put the power play on and it goes up to $2,500.
Chuck $1. There we go.
So you got a power play laying around. Chuck it on it.
Mm-hmm.
But
also going back to the Raptors, they have got 2 players with beards. So yeah, did have a look. Big Mark, Big Fred, the point guard and center.
Nice.
Got beards. Very good.
Good lads. Good on them. Well, there you go. There's the JLJ multi for this week.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Of course, very ambitious multi this week. So check it out if you like it. If you want to have it and then change things, add things, we'll do whatever you like. But VK, moving on to the North Adelaide game.
I really don't know the direction that Adelaide are going at this point. I don't think they're going to win a game all year. I don't know how long it's been since
I don't think so.
that's actually happened. But at the beginning of this game, actually, North was second worst team in the league and ended up scoring the biggest score of the season. So it shows how embarrassing Adelaide are at the moment and shows how much of a gap there is between Adelaide and the rest of the competition. North also didn't have Pollock and Ben Brown and still smashed them by that much, which was extremely impressive. McDonald was very good in this game, so I'd give him the 3 touches. And then Anderson and Hall, 3 players that I would say are inconsistent players, played very, very well this week against a struggling Adelaide. Absolutely.
Never. So I guess North, of course, making the big statement of dropping Jared Pollock and Ben Brown, I guess may have given some of those North players the extra motivation to really pull their finger out because, Jared Pollock, arguably their best player, most important player, probably on the most amount of money at their club.
Yeah.
I guess put them all on notice and they got the big win. But yeah, St Kilda Sydney, Matho.
Well, just back on the North dropping Ben Brown and Jared Pollock. What do you reckon the reasoning behind that is? Do you reckon Reece Shaw's trying to send a bit of a message that if you're not performing, you're going to get dropped, even though if you are the highest paid players on the team?
I'd literally just said that, but yeah, good to hear you listening, Matho.
Yes, no, but I do think that, but I also think it's rotation as well during this time.
It wasn't. There's a difference between omitted and managed. There's a difference. There's a difference between omitted and managed.
Because every team's going to be rotating decent to great players to an extent during this period. And I think obviously that was his point, 99%, but there's still a percent just to rest players, in my opinion. And I think you'll see other teams doing that with mediocre to good players during this 20-day stretch.
Yeah, I understand what VK was saying because it wasn't against such a side that you would rate so highly. I think it was kind of a resting to allow them for obviously this 20-day festival of footy to allow them to probably be at their full potential for the rest of it. And against not such a strong side, it probably wouldn't have been the worst week to drop them to.
Yeah, I guess so.
But we move on. St. Sydney, St. Kilda, once again showing that they are a very good side and can finish very well. The last quarter they were very, very strong. Tom Papley, where was he though? I think
kicked one of their kicked the goal in the first quarter, didn't touch the ball after that.
Yeah, exactly. You went missing a little bit. Our man though, Dan the Man Butler.
Mm-hmm.
VK will love this stat. 8 tackles.
That's a stat.
And 2 goals. So I think it's big effort from Dan, and I think you see the Coleman medal race and him sliding in there nicely at 5th, and you see just Dan Butler, and you can just think, oh, he's been on the JLJPodcast, and there you go.
That's the JLJ guarantee.
Exactly.
It's a JLJ guarantee.
If Cal Brown's back this week because of his ankle injury, he's kicking a goal. You can guarantee it.
Probably 15
Brown will be kicking.
Well.
Probably 15, yeah.
Reconsider and know that he's been on the podcast and put him in the side because he's going to be in career best form when he gets back in.
He will be.
Another
the JLJ guarantee.
Another talking point. Paddy Ryder, is he the best ruckman ever?
Honestly,
he's the greatest ruckman I've ever seen.
I'd put him above Dean Cox. Put him above.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, above Sandilands. Yeah, probably number 1.
Yeah,
Paddy Ryder.
He's
still my favorite player in the AFL. Not even an Essendon. Still my favorite player in the AFL. Forever.
Well, there you go.
What a man.
But
also
onto
drug
the votes.
That's beside the point.
Mm-hmm.
Onto the votes. Jade Gresham, 3. Zach Jones, 2. And Luke Parker just sliding in there for 1 vote.
Fair enough.
Jones is really good. Jones is a big get for St Kilda this year.
I think definitely from Sydney's midfield, I think he didn't fit in Sydney's midfield, but now down at St Kilda, he's getting in nicely, and the role that he's playing suits him much better, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Well, of course, 3 years ago, Tom Mitchell was playing at Sydney, so they've dropped two good midfielders. Of course, Tom Mitchell's a much higher level than Zach Jones, but Jones is still a good player, hard player. Gets to contest the ball, breaks forward, so he's there.
He's a
Sydney,
side.
Exactly.
Right.
Moving on, I guess Matthew again to probably game of the round. West Coast Geelong.
West Coast Geelong. I think Geelong probably could have gone all the way. I think their last
chances
let them down. Yeah, they definitely had chances. Josh Kennedy, though, is he the best forward in the league at the moment?
I think he might be. Of course, 11 goals in 2 games. Making Dusty Moore so bad he had to go play forward line.
Him or Tom
and then, of course, they're doing well on.
So would you put Josh Kennedy in the best forward of the last decade?
I don't think I had him in.
I'd still have Franklin.
My team of the decade.
I'd still have Franklin.
Yeah, but
Kennedy in my All-Australian prediction, Jacker. Josh
Kennedy in your All-Australian prediction?
Yeah, an All-Australian prediction video early in the year was my full forward. So that prediction's not looking too bad, actually.
No, it's not. I've got Kennedy in my team of the decade here, actually, just looking back at it. So, yeah. Definitely a Hall of Famer and, maybe even a legend. You just never know.
He's a leading goal kicker at West Coast as well, so...
Exactly.
Here's what it is. Nick Naitanui, though. I think
he'll be pushing for All-Australian.
I think the real question is now is the best ruckman in the league Max Gordon or Nick Naitanui? Brody Grundy, who is he? Get him out of the picture.
Yeah, honestly, Brody Grundy is named the third best ruckman as well.
And the disrespect to Todd Goldstein right now, yeah. I reckon he's leading the All-Australian, being more consistent than Naitanui has. I know he's had a few good games. If he continues this for the rest of the season, definitely All-Australian. But right now, I'd have Goldstein as my All-Australian ruckman so far this season.
Yeah.
I'm still putting in Gorn over Goldstein.
No, I think Goldstein.
Goldstein's clearances, he just makes such an impact.
He's averaging like 6.5 clearances a game or something. Which is,
Gorn starting ruckman, Goldstein on the bench.
Goldstein makes the bench. Interesting.
Yeah, I do the reverse. I do Goldstein starting, Gorn bench.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Be interesting though. Of course, I wouldn't be surprised if Grundy ended up making it at the end of the year. I think just in bad form. But yeah, you never know.
The West Coast midfield though, holy bejesus.
Mm-hmm.
That's stacked.
Yeah, it is a scary midfield. Scary midfield.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dom Sheed gets the 3 votes. He was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Kennedy too. I think his forward pressure and obviously just his game was immaculate. Some might say.
Stood up in the last quarter. Kicked those 3 last quarter goals. They got over the line.
I think Tim Kelly against his old side finally showed West Coast why they tried so hard to trade him across there.
Mm-hmm.
It was good for him. But just on another talking point, I think Geelong, you probably would have written them off at the start of the game for not having a full side with Selwood out, Gary Ablett out. I can't remember who else was out, but kind of shows that they have got depth and kind of flies under the radar a little bit. But I think Geelong are one of the most balanced teams in the AFL in depth-wise. They have a fair few players that they can look to. Brad Close, I think he's a really, really good inclusion. But like we said, most debutants go all right in their first few games and drop off after that. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes.
Yeah, exactly. We're just looking through the West Coast midfield. You have Dom Sheed, Tim Kelly, Andrew Gaff, Elliot Yeo, Luke Shuey, and Jack Redden. And of course, Brandon Archie runs through there sometimes.
Incredible midfield.
Yeah, it's a scary good midfield. How good it is.
Definitely.
Yeah. And because Vico said his premiership prediction, so it's not looking too bad.
Yeah, and I had Richmond to make the grand final as well, so not looking too bad, that grand final prediction.
No, not at all. Mm-hmm.
I'll move us to Gold Coast GWS now. A decent win for GWS in the end. Gold Coast is starting to dip again. They did this in the past couple of seasons, actually. Last season, they came out of the gates well, 3-1. They did have pretty easy fixtures. I was looking at it, but there was a couple of okay teams that they versed in their first 4 games, and they dipped straight afterwards. And it's amazing how to see the impact of the first-year player, Real, as having their team already. I haven't seen the impact of a first-year player quite like this, maybe in my whole life, to how a team performs just straight off his first season, I reckon. Very, very good player. Whitfield, again, just a great game. Whitfield's so good to watch because he just hits targets. 29 touches.
Yeah, he always wants to kick the ball.
82% kicking efficiency. Such a good game. I have him for 3 votes, Kelly for 2, and then Williams gets the 1 for me. GWS maybe starting to push back into some better form.
Yeah, Zach Williams was a big in for them, of course, was really strong in the last half of the season from last year off that half-back line. And also pushing through the midfield. But yeah, it was good to see him back out there. On to the final game of the round, and I reckon probably the biggest upset of the year, Fremantle Collingwood. Of course, Freo were third last, coming against Collingwood, who were red hot. Well, I guess they did get absolutely destroyed against West Coast, but, people still saying definitely one of the premiership favourites. But they just got torn apart, really. No Howe, of course, no DeGoey, no Pendlebury, all really struggled. Once again, I said it from after the first couple of rounds, the Collingwood have no forward line, and it proved once again, their inability to kick goals is what's really hurting them at the moment. Of course, Brody Myercheck's the hit and miss player up there. Doesn't really do much. Jaden Stevenson is a shadow of the player he was. Jamie Elliott's playing more midfield time, not really kicking goals down there. So yeah, some problem times at Collingwood for their forward line. Of course, I guess they might get DeGoey back right on the finals time, so that maybe be a big push for them going into the end. But it was all Fremantle. I gave Luke Ryan the 3 votes. He'd be pushing for All Australian with his numbers in defence. I think he'd be their number 1 disposal getter at Fremantle. 2 votes to Matt Taberner. Of course, once again, made Darcy Moore look silly as usual. But of course, I guess Darcy Moore wasn't playing on him too much. He was that bloke on debut who was shocking. Yeah. But, still, Taberner's, one of the best marking forwards in the comp now. He's kicking goals.
He's coming second in contested marks or something behind Charlie Dixon.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, exactly. He's a really strong mark overhead. And it's good to see Sidebottom back out there after his little incident with his drinking and stuff and all that crap. But Sidebottom with the 1 vote. 20-odd touches, kicked the 2 goals. They were both pretty good goals as well, both, snaps and stuff. But really good for Fremantle. I think it's a really good confidence boost for them. Of course, probably having their current best and fairest leader in Michael Walters out. Of course, they brought Nat Fyfe in, but, having Fyfe out was definitely a massive... having Walters out was a massive loss for them, and they got over the line. So really good stuff, and, great positives for Fremantle as Collingwood seemed to struggle with, almost the big forwards. And now, of course, Kennedy kicking 6 on them, Taberner kicking 4 on them. Lynch kicked a couple on them near the start of the year. So, maybe it's, have to look into, I don't know, I guess Howe's out will guess a big loss for them. So, just never know with Collingwood these days.
Just quickly, though, Caleb Sarong, what a pickup he is.
He was good.
Yeah. Picked 6 in the draft or something. Yeah. Really strong player already.
He's awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, that just reminded me about Collingwood's incident with Nathan Buckley. Thought it'd be a good idea to go play some tennis. And of course, copping his $50,000 fine.
It's fair enough.
Just really silly. Of course, then he had to quarantine, 24 hours before the game, so he didn't get to see the players before the game. I'm sure that would have, stopped their or affected their preparation. Not being able to have him speak to them the day before the game, in their final team meeting or whatever.
Definitely.
It's just course, once again, Eddie Maguire looked silly because literally the day before he said, "Oh, if anyone breaks the rules, they should be sent home and stuff," and then day later, Nathan Buckley does it. "Oh, yeah, what do you think now, Eddie?" "Oh, no, he didn't mean to do it." Yeah.
Just contradicts himself constantly, Eddie Maguire. He needs to stop saying things so certainly and like, this is what I believe, this is what's going to have to happen. And then he breaks it. He should just not talk and just not say stuff like that. He doesn't need to. I don't like. And if he's going to, then he's got to back up his word. But he doesn't. It's all about Collingwood. It's all about Collingwood.
Yeah, exactly.
On Eddie Maguire, rest in peace to his mother that passed away during the week.
Yeah, true.
So, hope he's doing all right because obviously it is tough times in Melbourne.
Definitely.
And no guarantee that he will be able to go to the funeral. And on that matter, anyone listening, shout out to you all. I know it is hard in Victoria at the moment. Any of us boys, hit us up in the comments and stuff, and we're always all happy for a chat.
Absolutely. Of course. Yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks for listening.
I'll see you guys.
See you later.